Good morning, all. As we have seen in yesterday's lecture, that design of flange coupling, we have covered this slide by means of knowing what are the nomenclatures of this particular design, and we have came across this design of hub, as well as we have seen the design of key also. In case of design of hub, it is considered as a hollow shaft, and as we have designed it, in case of MUP coupling, that same type of formula or same formula here we are going to use, and we are going to check whether this shear stresses for the coupling are within the limit or not. Okay, because basically from the proportionality equations we are going to calculate the dimensions for the these equations. We are going to calculate the dimensions for the hub and all that flange couplings, right? So next step, that is third step, design of flange. In case of flange, we are going to take the flange which will get shear out here. Okay, at this place, let me tell you, here the shearing. We are going to check it for the shear stress, as well as we are going to check it for the, just a minute. Yeah, we are going to check it for the shear stress here. So what I will do, I will copy this particular diagram from this slide and I will take it. Okay, it is already here. Okay, no problem. So you can see here that diagram. Okay, I will elaborate this diagram. And where the shearing will be take place, that place we are going to compare with this diagram. Okay, if you had doubt, you can ask at that time. Okay, the flange is at the junction of hub under the shear, which already I have told you that it will be shear out at the junction. That is, here it will get shear out. Getting? So when it will get shear out at this place, just we are going to calculate the area which is undergoing to the shear. So area, that is nothing but the periphery of hub will undergo to the shear, multiplied by its thickness will be there. Okay, this area will undergo to the shear because of the torsional stresses or torque which you want to transmit with the help of hub to the flange, because this is the upper part of flange. This upper part, and this flange will get shear out at the junction with the hub. So we are going to calculate the torque which will get transmitted by means of this hub and area which is undergoing to the shear. Okay. So if you are going to consider D as a diameter, capital D as a diameter of hub, already we have seen while we have seen the nomenclatures. This capital D is the hub diameter. So periphery of that hub multiplied by its thickness, that will be the area which is undergoing for the shear. Okay, and this area, if it is multiplied with the allowable shear stress, it will become force, right? Force which you want to transmit. So force multiplied by radius, it will become torque. So torque which you want to transmit is nothing but force multiplied by radius. Radius, that is nothing but d by 2, right? Here this will be radius, and which will be equal to d, capital D by 2, that is nothing but the radius of that hub. And at this periphery, it will get shear out. That's why the area which you are going to calculate for the shear stresses, that will be pi d into Tf. This is the thickness Tf, that is the thickness of flange, right? So this Tf multiplied by periphery will be area, allowable shear stresses, because stress multiplied by area is the force. Okay, force multiplied by radius is the torque. So if you are going to solve this equation, what we are going to get, that d, this d and this d will get d square, pi d square, that is d again, diameter of hub, pi capital D square divided by 2 into allowable shear stresses multiplied by thickness of flange. If we are going to select these proportional dimensions, that is hub diameter and thickness of that flange, just we have to check for the given torque whether these stresses are within the limit or not. Okay. So this equation will help us for calculating the stresses induced in the flange, or the torque which we can transmit with the help of flange, whether it is capable to transmit it or not. Let me know if you do have any question. You can write in chat box as far as this slide or this formula is concerned. Any question? Do you get it? Yes, let me know. This our dialogue should be both way. If you are understanding it, let me know. If not, also let me know so that I can repeat it. You can write in chat box or you can unmute yourself if you are having any doubt. Okay. Right, no doubt, no problem. So as the proportional dimensions which we are going to choose, already we have seen that the thickness of this flange is taken as a half of the diameter of shaft. Okay, normally it is taken as a half of the diameter of shaft, or I have told you that it will be taken as a what, double of the diameter of the nut which we have calculated. Okay, till we have not calculated diameter of nut, that's why it's nut and bolt, okay, which is used for the fastening of that couplings together, but usually it is taken as a half of the diameter of that shaft. Okay, so here we can calculate the shear stresses and we can check whether they are within the permissible limit or not. Next, what we are going to do is that we are going to design the bolts. Now bolts which are undergoing for the shear stresses, okay, here you can see the diagram, and already we have taken this pitch diameter of the bolts. Okay, now the pitch diameter of the bolt that we have decided as D1, here you can see. So torque which we want to transmit, that torque has to be calculated. Okay, let us consider that the number of bolts which we are going to use to transmit that torque is N. Okay, and later on we can calculate the load on each bolt so that we can calculate the diameter of that bolt. Okay, so here normally this pitch diameter of bolt is taken as a thrice of diameter of shaft. This is proportional dimension which we have seen previously in the previous lecture, that D1 is taken as a 3 times of the diameter of shaft, and just we can check whether these particular dimensions which we have selected are able to sustain the stress which will get induced into it. Now we'll calculate the load on each bolt. So each bolt is going to sustain load equal to the stress. We know that load divided by area. So area which is undergoing for the shear, because in this case what will happen, this red flange will try to transmit the torque to this to the another flange another flange. Okay, so this blue flange or blue shaded flange is receiver and this red flange is transmitter. This torque is transmitted first to this bolt and later on it will be transmitted to the flange of this blue part or blue hatching lines, and later on it will be transmitted to the blue hub and to later on to the pin which is used to connect this hub with the shaft, and later on it will go given to the output shaft, which flow of this torque we have seen for the last lecture. Now here you can see this red line where this bolt is probably will go under the shear. So we have to take shear stresses. Okay, so allowable shear stresses for the bolt multiplied by its area, that will be the load which will taken by the single bolt. Now if you want to calculate the total load which that bolt will take, that number of bolts which we are going to use as a n. So if one bolt is taking pi by 4 d1 square tau b, that load multiplied by n, that is number of bolts, will be taken total load which is sustained by the all bolts, that we can calculate. Now this total load has to be sustained to transmit the torque which is transmitted, which we want to transmit through this shaft to the another shaft, right? So torque, when we are going to calculate, this torque is nothing but what? Force multiplied by area, right? So just this force which we have calculated, or total force which these bolts are going to transmit, n number of bolts are going to transmit, multiplied by area, radius, that will be the torque which will be transmitted. Now radius, torque which is available at bolt, that torque we have to take. Okay, so torque which is available at the hub, that we have calculated by multiplying by d, not d1. Now this torque will get increased if you want to calculate this torque at the center line of these bolts, or the pitch circle of these bolts. Am I right? So pitch circle diameter you have to take, because this is what the pitch circle which we have decided. So this is pitch circle, and we have to take the torque which is acting at this pitch circle. That's why d1 divided by 2 is taken. Okay, from this you can calculate either diameter of the bolt, and if this bolt diameter is calculated, you can check it for the allowable stresses. If you are going to already calculating this bolt diameter by means of proportionality dimension calculations, then you can check it to the allowable shear stresses in that bolt. Okay, now we know that we have to check it for the crushing also, because this bolt is inside the flange, and flange will apply compressive or crushing load on the bolt periphery. So we have to check that whether this bolt is capable to sustain this crushing stresses or compressive stresses. Crushing stress. So this area which is undergoing process for n number of bolts is calculated as d, that is the diameter of bolt is taken, though it is circular one. Suppose we are going to consider this as a circular bolt, and on this periphery the crushing force will be applied. We are going to consider it this area as a flat area on which this crushing force is applied or compressive force is applied. So we are going to consider, though it is round, we are going to consider it as a flat area this flat area of the bolt, right? So this flat area is calculated as length of this bolt. This bolt length is twice of TF, because half of the flat bolt is inside the first flange and half of the bolt is inside the second flange. Okay, so crushing stresses or crushing load which will be applied by the driver flange, that will be equal to the D1 multiplied by TF, because this thickness is TF, right? So this crushing force which is applied will be sustained by the area which we have drawn here, that is flat area, okay, is equal to diameter, this D1 multiplied by TF. Okay, and will be sustained by n number of bolts. That's why the crushing force or crushing area will be n multiplied by d1 multiplied by tm. Got it? That is the crushing which is done by means of one flange. Another flange will be applied same amount of crushing load, and we can check it for the next flange, but it will be the same. Now, what we are going to do is that the crushing strength of bolt is calculated by means of multiplying the area, okay, area by means of stress. So crushing stress, that is nothing but the compressive stresses, this allowable compressive stresses multiplied by area, that is going to become force. Crushing force which is applied or which will be sustained by all bolts, okay, total together. And if you want to calculate the torque, just multiply it by means of radius, that is nothing but d1 by 2. This force multiplied by d1 by 2 will be the torque. So that is calculated in the second formula. So you can check whether this torque which is transmitted by means of this all number of bolts is the torque which you want to transmit from one shaft to another shaft. Or if you are going to put the value of torque here, if you are going to put the value of allowable shear stresses, if you are knowing the d1 diameter, okay, that is pitch diameter of bolts, you already have calculated by means of this proportional values tf, you can calculate d1, okay. So by means of this formula, we can either calculate d1. By means of this formula also, you can calculate diameter of the bolt d1, okay, and you can check it for the crushing stresses. Or from the proportional, if you are going to select all the dimensions, and for the bolt which or torque which you want to transmit, if you are going to select the number of bolts also, okay, then you can check it for the stresses which are induced into that, shear stresses and these compressive stresses. Got it? Any question? Let me know if you are having any question. This equation is normally used to calculate number of bolts. This equation is used to check whether these compressive stresses are within the limit or not. Any question? Let me know if you are having any question. Please, you can write in chat box. Yes? No? Okay. Thank you. So you can move to the further slide. At this stage, all the things which you want to check here in the flange coupling or the dimensions which you want to calculate for the flange coupling are calculated. And here the design is completed for the flange coupling, that is rigid coupling. Okay. We'll see one example related to that. I will read the statement. Design a cast iron protective type flange coupling. Now protective type, that is nothing but the thickness of flange will be extended and cover is done, or covering of that bolts are done. Okay, head of that bolt Okay, we are going to read this problem statement, and in this problem statement, it is mentioned that we are going to design one protective type flange coupling to transmit 15 kilowatt power at 900 RPM. Okay, from an electric motor to the compressor. The service factor may be assumed as a 1.35. The following permissible stresses may be used. First is shear stress. Bolt and key, same material is used. and it has a strength of 40 megapascal. Crushing stresses for the bolt and key, crushing stresses are 80 megapascal. Then shear stresses for the cast iron is 8 megapascal. So hub is made up of, or coupling is made up of shear cast iron. So the shear stresses for the cast iron is 8 megapascal. Okay. So this data we have to use, and we have to design one flange coupling that will be of protective type. Oh, don't worry that we have not seen the design of protective type flange coupling. Only thing is that we are going to, let me show that protective type flange coupling, which already I have explained to you. In case of this protective type flange coupling, this additional cover is provided to the head of this bolt and nut. Okay, that is the only thing. And you can take this thickness TP equal to TF. Okay. So first of all, what we are going to do is that we are going to calculate the given data. So power which you want to transmit is 15 kilowatt, that is 15 into 10 raised to 3 watt at 900 RPM. Service factor is 1.35. Then allowable shear stresses for the shaft, bolt and key is 40 megapascal, that is nothing but 40 Newton per millimeter square. Allowable shear stresses for the, compressive stresses for the bolt and key is 80 megapascal, that is 80 Newton per millimeter square. Allowable shear stress for the hub or flange is 8 megapascal, that is 8 Newton per millimeter square. Okay. Now, first of all, we have to calculate how much torque is to be transmitted by means of this coupling. So torque is equal to T to 60 divided by 2 pi n, because power is equal to 2 pi n T upon 60. Hence we can calculate T, that will be P 15 into 10 raised to 3 into 60 divided by 2 pi into 900. So torque which you want to transmit is 159.13 Newton meter. That Newton meter will be later on converted into Newton millimeter, because all these dimensions we are going to calculate in millimeter. Also the stresses which we are going to use for the calculation are in millimeter square. So since the service factor is used as a 1.35, we have to multiply by that factor to the calculated torque. So design torque, or torque which we are going to, or dimensions for which we are going to transmit the torque will be equal to the service factor multiplied by the calculated torque. Okay. So just we are going to calculate the design power by means of multiplying the service factor, or to the torque by means of service factor. So torque which we are going to consider for the design is equal to 159.13 multiplied by 1.35, and that will be equal to 215 Newton meter, that is 215 Newton into 10 raised to 3 Newton millimeter. Now this torque we are going to use for the further calculation. Any question related to this? If not, we can move to the next slide. Now this design of cast iron protective type flange coupling to transmit the 15. Okay, this is what we have seen. This is the same slide. Okay. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to calculate and other dimensions of that coupling. We know that diameter of, or outer diameter of hub is taken as a twice of the inner diameter, that is the diameter of shaft, and that will be equal to 2 multiplied by 35, that is 70 millimeter. Whether we have calculated diameter of that shaft. Yes, here first of all we have to calculate the diameter of shaft, and later on this diameter can be used for the calculating further diameter. So this torque which you want to transmit by means of the shaft, we know that T is equal to pi by 16 allowable shear stresses for the shaft multiplied by D cube, where D is the diameter of shaft. Hence allowable shear stresses we are knowing is the 40 megapascal, that is 40 Newton per millimeter square. And from this, we can calculate the diameter of that shaft. This equation will be written in terms of d cube. Later on, value of d is calculated and it is coming as a 30.1 millimeter. Okay, so it will be approximated to the 35. One can approximate it to the 33, 32. Okay, so according to that, other dimensions will get changed. But here I have approximated it to the 35 millimeter. Getting me? We cannot say that 30.1 you can take as it is, but it will be approximated to the next value. Okay, next full number, that is 35 millimeter. It is up to you, but it should not be less than this 30.1. Getting me? This thing we have seen while we have solved various problems with this unit. Okay, that is design of shaft, design of key, design of hollow shaft, that are MUP coupling also. While we have solved problem related to the MUP coupling, in that case also we have seen how this approximation is done. So hope you are understanding it. If you have any question, you are free to ask. Once you decide the diameter of that shaft, then you can decide the other dimensions for the coupling. So we are going to take here the outer diameter of hub is equal to twice of the inner diameter, that is the diameter of shaft, and is equal to 70 millimeter. Length of hub is taken as a 1.5 times the diameter of shaft, and that will be equal to 1.5 into 35, that will be equal to 52.5 millimeter. Okay, this also you can approximate to the 55 or next whole number. I have not approximated here. Let us check now shear stresses which will be induced in the hub material, which is made up of cast iron, and whether these dimensions are capable to sustain that shear stress. Okay, so maximum torque which you want to transmit by means of hub is 215 into 10 raised to 3 Newton millimeter, is equal to pi by 16 allowable shear stress in the coupling multiplied by capital D raised to 4 minus small d raised to 4 divided by d. Now, capital D we have calculated as 70 millimeter, small d we have calculated as 35 millimeter. So if you are going to put all values, we can check these shear stresses. Now the shear stresses which will be induced in that hub or hub material, that will be 3.4 Newton millimeter square, whereas 3.4 megapascal we can call, which are less than the allowable, and allowable shear stresses are 8 megapascal, which we have seen in the problem statement. Hence, the dimensions which we have selected, which we have calculated from the proportional dimensions are safe. Getting? So hub is safe now. Any problem? Any query? Can we move to the next slide? Yes. Once you have calculated the hub dimensions, that is nothing but outer diameter of hub and length of that hub, then we are going to calculate the dimensions for the key which is used for that. Now for the key, shear stress is taken as a half of the compressive stresses. Okay, and compressive stresses are given, shear stresses are given in key material. Okay, and by means of using the proportional dimensions, we can find that width of key will be equal to 12 millimeter. Thickness of flange, thickness of key will be taken as a 12 millimeter. Square key is used. Okay, for this coupling, here it is written that. And while you are solving this problem, you have to mention which type of key we are going to use here. Normally, square type of keys are preferable, because once you have calculated the dimension that is for the width, as it is taken for the thickness. Okay. Now, length of key will be equal to the length of that hub of the flange, and that is equal to 52.5 millimeter. Once you decide width, thickness, and length of this key, you can check it for the shear stresses. Now we know that the torque which has to be transmitted by means of key is equal to L multiplied by W multiplied by allowable shear stresses for key into diameter of shaft divided by 2. Okay, this will be the load which is sustained multiplied by radius, that will be the torque. So in this case, by putting L value 52.5, W value as a 12, and you can check this allowable shear stresses. Now these shear stresses are coming as a 19.5 megapascal. And in case of crushing stresses, now 19 megapascal, and in the statement how much that allowable shear stress is given. Allowable shear stress for the key, here you can check, is 40 megapascal, that is 40 Newton per millimeter square. So it is within the limit. That's why we can say it is safe for the shear stress. Now we have to check it for the crushing stresses. Now for the crushing stresses, we know that total torque which is transmitted by means of key is equal to L multiplied by T by 2 into allowable crushing stresses multiplied by radius of that shaft, that is diameter divided by 2. Now L is 52.5, width is, thickness is 12 millimeter, 12 divided by 2. This crushing stresses we are going to calculate from this formula, and diameter of shaft is 35 divided by 2. Hence, the compressive or crushing stresses are coming equal to 39 Newton per millimeter square, and this value is equal to 40 multiplied by 2, that is 80. These are the allowable 80 megapascal, that is 80 Newton per millimeter square. These are the allowable crushing or compressive stresses in key material. Getting me? How you have calculated it? It is calculated by means of this formula. Or compressive stresses are